Why does God keep allowing bad things to happen to me? I'm a good person. I feel like I'm just always struggling. Does he not want me to succeed? What's up, y'all? Coach Amanda here. Now, how many of you find yourself having the pity party that I did in the opening of this video? Chances are, every single one of you. When things don't go according to our plan, we always ask ourselves why. They have a negative effect on us because one, we already have this planned out in our minds. We already know this is how it's going to go. This is the goal. This is how I'm going to get there. And so when it doesn't happen the way we imagined, we take it as a complete negative situation. And you're in for the long haul because unfortunately life never goes according to your plan, ever. How many times has something played out exactly the way you imagined it? One of the best pieces I can take out of my own life is a wedding day. Now, I'm divorced now, but back when I was planning that wedding day, I had it in my mind, this is exactly how it's gonna go. And several things went completely haywire. Same with moms who have birth plans. You have this perfect plan of how it's gonna go when you give birth to your child, and it almost never goes that way. Anything in your life that doesn't go according to plan, you often plant this seed of negativity surrounding whatever it is. And usually when you are pushing back so much because it didn't go the way you wanted it to, and so you're trying to regain that control, right? We feel out of control when things hit us that are unexpected. And so we force ourselves to try to gain that control back. And in doing so, we actually hurt ourselves more. You need to understand that God has a very specific plan for you. There is a reason that you are here on earth. And a lot of times we spend our entire life fighting against the path he's trying to direct us down because we've already created a different path over here and it is not meant for you. It's almost like when you're in driver's ed. How many of you were in driver's ed and you had the steering wheel that you drove and then your instructor had their steering wheel and they could correct you if you were gonna go off and hit somebody? God is the instructor and he's trying to redirect you back onto the road and you keep trying to force it to go this way. So what happens when that happens? You're bobbing around, you're hitting curbs, you're flying all over the place. It is not a pleasant experience at all. What I want you all to do is when something doesn't go the way you wanted it to, you need to take a step back and accept what is actually happening. A lot of times when you accept what is happening, it is accompanied by pain, suffering, heartbreak, or all three. And you might ask yourself, well, why would God do that to me? If God loves me so much, why would he put me through pain, suffering, and heartbreak? That is because God already knows what's inside of you. Most of the times, us humans, we don't realize the full potential that's inside of us. Only God really knows the person that we can step in to become. And this is essentially your calling. This is the reason that you were born. This is the reason you were here on earth. A perfect situation would be, say, a relationship. Somebody is in a relationship. It is not exactly healthy. For me, personally, there was codependency in relationships that I'd been in, but I was in such denial about being codependent that I would try to take hold of that control and smother that person into staying with me. Meanwhile, God's over here saying, girl, you got issues. You need to let this person go because you're not good for them. And you certainly aren't doing well for yourself. You need to take a step back and realize this deep-rooted issue about yourself. But for years, y'all, I didn't want anything to do with that. I didn't want to listen to God. I didn't want to let him in. And I didn't want to admit that I had flaws that were deeply, deeply suppressed. And so what happens here is God is going to continue allowing heartbreak, suffering, and pain to enter your life until you can finally get it through your head that you need to let go and let him lead you. Like I said, this took me years. I finally did it. And while it was horrible and it hurt so bad, about a month and a half or so after I was completely destroyed and felt like I had no will to live any longer and I just was so broken, I had an epiphany and I began to replay scenarios and then I reflected on my actions, my recent actions of how I was actually handling this pain and heartbreak, and it was very toxic. But I didn't know in the moment. I had to get through the pain, suffering, and heartbreak, let God lead me, and eventually I realized, holy cow, I am seeking validation, I am codependent, and I'm no good for anybody in this state. I just can't stand it when people are like, what kind of great God lets bad things happen to good people? And y'all, again, we have free will, okay? God gave us free will. We have a choice in everything that we do. And he will present opportunities, and some are not always wrapped in a big shiny bow that make us smile and happy. Some opportunities are wrapped in some of the most excruciating emotional trauma that we are ever given, but there's an opportunity within it to help us grow into who he knows we are. So this leads me to the next phase of when people say, why does God let bad things happen? One, you have a choice. So if you continuously are seeing patterns in your life that mimic past patterns, that is on you, that is not God. That is you continuing to hold on to control and replay things that God is trying to get you through. This is why you have patterns in your life. Secondly, it's within the patterns that a lot of times we hear a voice in our head that's telling us we're not good enough, nobody's gonna love us, we're never gonna make that money, we're never gonna have a house, we're never gonna be a good enough parent, I'm never gonna be liked by, so-and-so. Like, that voice is not God allowing you to think that. While you have the free will to think what you will, that little voice that is validating that you have no worth, that's the devil. And if that little voice isn't completely desecrating the way you see yourself, the devil can attack you in other less obvious ways. Instead of being violent or bitter or negative constantly in our brain, sometimes the devil can attack you in a very sneaky manner through temptation. Now, this happens when you are trying to escape your current reality. Escape can be through so many different ways, y'all. It can be through overeating, it can be through drinking alcohol, it can be through drug use, it can be through sex, it can be through overworking, it can be through shutting down. It can be through so many different things that cause us to escape trauma that God's trying to get us to feel. And you have to go through those feelings again because God's putting you on this path that requires you to overcome those feelings. And once you do, because you have it in you, he knows you do, that's why he's presenting you with these feelings in the first place, you're supposed to overcome them and then keep moving. But the devil knows that if he can get in your mind and he can tempt you to not only feel shitty about yourself and make yourself believe you have no worth, then he's going to hypnotize you in a sense and tempt you to come over here and distract you, escape with me. And then you'll never find yourself reaching goals that you've set for yourself because he has sneakily had you come over here and he's distracting you. You have the choice in whether you follow that voice or you allow yourself to feel uncomfortable feelings and go that way. Way too often, we go that way because it seems a lot more easy. The devil has a very good way of easing your pain, promises saying, I can ease your pain right now, just follow me. The devil often acts as like a quick fix to weight loss, like that pill that's take me. You'll lose all the weight. It's quick, it's fast, it's easy. Meanwhile, there's 8,000 side effects that are going to hinder you as you age. There's going to be things that pop up that cause you more ailments. The same thing happens with the devil. He can coax you into escaping uncomfortable, painful heartbreak temporarily, which in the moment seems worth it sometimes because sometimes our feelings are so overbearing, we don't know how we're going to get through it. Instead of leaning on God and trusting him to love us through it and trusting him to bring us through it, we end up following the devil because he is giving you immediate pain relief, but it always comes at a cost. I want you to recognize is God loves you no matter what. And a lot of the pain that you have to endure in your human form here on earth is for your own good. And I know that's really hard to accept because some things in this world are absolutely unfair and they don't make any sense at all. You need to really, really sit with yourself and think deeply about what opportunities rest in every horrific situation because there is always something that is there that can help people grow and can help you grow into who you're supposed to be. You can do anything you put your mind to. You just have to quit letting that negative devil voice into your head and leading you down horrible paths or distracting you from the path you're supposed to be on. Not only that, you need to learn to let go of control. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, but I assure you, when you can let go of that control and you can just trust God when things don't go your way, all the things that you've ever wanted will come into your life faster than they did while you were spending all these years resisting against it. You, my friend, were put here for a reason. And you have a very, very vibrant, abundant future.